into a human roadblock to Prince Harry's dreams of rebuilding his lost popularity back in Britain. Scheming Meghan led her hapless husband astray like a lamb to the slaughter because he is hopelessly naive, a cold, rude, fake woman who is pretending to be someone she isn't, and Prince Harry is finally waking up to the terrible truth. Who says so? Looked so awkward, standing next to a similarly uncomfortable Prince Harry. The picture painted 1,000 words, all of them miserable. On the plus side, the...
Oh, honey. After years of Meghan playing the poor little me card, someone finally stood up and said, "Nope, not today." And not just anyone. Kevin O'Sullivan came armed with receipts. This wasn't a casual comment. This was a full-on takedown dressed in calm, cold precision.
Meghan Markle has sensationally shut up shop. After all the noise, all the pathetic plugging, all the please, please, please.
Kevin O'Sullivan didn't just criticize Meghan Markle, he shredded her. And the way he did it? Effortless. Sitting there across from Dan Wooten, relaxed like he owned the place, he leaned back, took that slow, satisfied sip of coffee, and dropped a truth bomb he'd clearly been saving. His words were razor sharp. She's completely lost.
Being pictured, not being seen, obsessed with her own privacy, and she flew all the way to Paris to preserve her privacy, didn't she?
She did. You know,
Paris was supposed to be Meghan's grand I'm still relevant moment. You know, that big comeback scene where the main character walks in slow motion and everyone gasps. Except instead of a triumphant return, what Paris witnessed was her slow, very public unraveling. The city of lights didn't glow for her, it exposed her. What was supposed to look like elegance ended up reeking of desperation, wrapped in couture.
Falling outfit. Everybody looked at it and went, "Oh God, what is this? This sort of white flowing thing, really rubbish." And but of course, for her, mission accomplished. I mean, it was dread.
People behind the scenes were whispering about how Meghan was personally calling designers to get invitations. And if you know how this world works, that's not what real A-listers do. One insider even claimed she personally called Balenciaga's creative director, begging to secure a seat. Just picture that for a second. Meghan Markle, once the golden girl of Hollywood and the British royal family, now frantically dialing fashion houses like a PR agent in full meltdown. It wasn't a soft fall. It was a crash so loud even the Eiffel Tower probably rolled its eyes. And then when she finally showed up, oh, the tragedy and comedy collided. That outfit, half Holy Ghost, half nightgown, instantly became meme gold. Kevin O'Sullivan went for the jugular, calling it the Pope after a bad night on the tiles. Cruel? Maybe. Accurate? Absolutely. The photos were unforgiving. She looked completely lost, awkward, and like she'd crashed a party she wasn't invited to.
Useless outfit, and didn't exactly get to rub shoulders with the A-list while she was there. I mean, what?
Then came the moment that sealed the deal. Meghan got caught laughing when a model tripped on the runway. The clip exploded online. The woman who lectures the world about compassion was caught giggling at someone else's humiliation. Paris saw it. The internet never forgets.
If she hadn't gone to Paris, I would have said to you tonight, well, you know, it's all been about Harry, hasn't it, lately? Everybody...
By the end of Fashion Week, Meghan wasn't trending for her looks or elegance. Oh no, she was trending for all the wrong reasons. What was supposed to be her she's back moment turned into undeniable proof that the Duchess's golden touch had completely vanished.
oh, I don't know if I think she did it deliberately, but I'm sick of her trying to sell us on the fact that we should like.
And this is where Kevin O'Sullivan stopped joking. He got serious, deadly serious. He peeled back the glitz and glitter and exposed the unsettling obsession Meghan seems to have with Princess Diana.
It's on With Love Meghan being special because it's all about going the extra mile and make.
According to Kevin, Meghan showing up in Paris wasn't random at all. She knew exactly what she was doing. Paris holds one of Harry's deepest, most painful memories. It's where Diana died. Meghan had always said she'd never visit Paris because it was too painful for Harry. Yet here she was, front row at Fashion Week, smiling, posing, and making sure the cameras caught every angle.
Going the extra mile and making somebody feel special because you know all these little details about them. Well, if you know all these little details about your husband, you should know.
Kevin's take? It was all calculated. If she deliberately went there to milk the Diana symbolism for attention. What does that say about her? And then, like a plot twist, leaked footage appeared. Meghan reclining in a limo, feet propped up, recording herself as the car drove near the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the very place Diana's life ended. It wasn't just a PR fail, it was haunting. For Harry, the irony was a gut punch. The woman who claimed to heal his pain was now poking at it for headlines. Kevin summed it up with one brutal line: "If you don't want your wife dragged into Diana's tragedy, maybe don't let her drive straight through it." And if Paris was bad, New York was a PR massacre. Meghan waltzed into the city like an A-list movie star, head held high, ready for her close-up, but this wasn't a red carpet, it was a grief summit. The event was to honor families who lost their children to online bullying, a moment meant to be solemn, respectful, but somehow, Meghan made it all about herself. When her team posted that behind-the-scenes video, Kevin O'Sullivan nearly combusted. This wasn't empathy, this was a Vogue commercial disguised as activism. The clip opened with her gliding through her massive closet, carefully choosing designer heels, fixing her hair in the mirror, smiling like she was in a perfume ad. And then, boom, her slow strut into the venue with cameras capturing every step like she was headlining a runway. Kevin's reaction? Families are mourning dead kids and she's showing off her shoes. Ah, the infamous jam jars, the big comeback plan that turned into a punchline. Meghan had cooked up this vision of herself as America's Martha Stewart, a luxury brand, a soft power empire. It was all going to be so elegant until people actually opened the jars. She sent out 50 exclusive jars of strawberry jam with her fancy new brand, American Riviera Orchard. Gorgeous packaging, oh so pretentious branding, but the product, a total flop. One influencer said it was watery jelly pretending to be high-end. Another joked it tasted like regret and PR panic. Kevin O'Sullivan, of course, had a field day. With that signature smirk, he dubbed her the Duchess of Sticky Situations. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. She'd sent jam to celebrities who probably haven't touched carbs since 2007. And then fans started pointing out how suspiciously similar the labels looked to a small British jam company. Oh, the drama practically wrote itself. Social media had a full-blown feast with this jam scandal. Memes were flying faster than the jars themselves. Not Meghan trying to save her image one jar at a time, one user wrote, while another joked, 90% PR, 10% fruit. People weren't just laughing, they were roaring. Kevin didn't even need to exaggerate this time. The situation mocked itself. One of his most vicious lines of the night: "If this is her comeback, she should have just stayed gone." She was introduced as a highly scrutinized founder. And instead of seizing that moment to deliver something impactful, Meghan used it as a springboard to do what she does best: relive every grievance from 2016. Within minutes, she'd shifted the spotlight from leadership to her victim storyline. Kevin called it out immediately. She complains about scrutiny, the very thing that keeps her famous. And then came the word salad. Her answer to a leadership question was a dizzying storm of vague phrases, anchoring in authenticity, manifesting space, aligning vibrations with intention. The room filled with women who actually built empires brick by brick stared back like, what on earth is this? It was painfully clear. Meghan wasn't inspiring anyone. She was giving influencer TED Talk energy, minus the substance. Meanwhile, her jam brand was tanking behind the scenes faster than her applause. Shelves were full, sales were non-existent, and yet she was up on stage talking about building billion-dollar empires. Kevin called it California delusion dressed up as empowerment. And honestly, it stuck. The audience clapped at the end, but it wasn't the clap of admiration. It was that polite, thank God it's over applause. Kevin later summed it up in a single line that went viral. It wasn't a summit, it was a summit of cringe. And if Meghan thought that was the low point, oh, she had no idea. Kevin's commentary then turned its gaze to Harry. At this point, he didn't even have to twist the knife. Harry's fall from grace was practically writing itself. Once a soldier, once a royal with purpose, once a man admired for his charm and raw honesty. Now, a background extra in Meghan's endless PR saga. Kevin painted the picture so vividly it almost hurt. The same man who once flew Apache helicopters in Afghanistan now spends his days perfecting his supportive husband face behind a ring light, always standing slightly behind her, clapping, smiling, nodding like a royal Roomba programmed to applaud. And then came the money bombshell. Meghan, according to Kevin, had assumed marrying a prince meant marrying into billionaire status. But Harry? Barely a multimillionaire. Kevin said it bluntly. She thought she was getting a billionaire. She got a man with an inheritance. He didn't stop there. Kevin dissected Meghan's pattern like a surgeon. Everywhere she goes, something or someone gets left behind. The TIG deleted overnight. Archetypes canceled after one season of buzzwords. The Netflix cooking show? Quietly shelved before a single episode aired. Friendships? Gone the second they stopped serving her storyline. Remember Jessica Mulroney? Once Meghan's best friend, poof, vanished from her narrative like she never existed. Her dad, her half-sister, old co-stars, they've all become ghosts in the Meghan Markle cinematic universe. Kevin's verdict? She doesn't just quit projects. She quits people, and every time the pressure builds, she rebrands. When royal life turned sour, she became the victim. When Hollywood cooled, she was suddenly a philanthropic entrepreneur. When the brands flopped, she reinvented herself as an advocate for mental health. It's like watching someone constantly audition for a new role. But the plot never changes. Kevin's take was brutal but precise. She loves the beginning, he said, the buzz, the spotlight, the headlines. But when it's time to actually build something, she's gone. And let's not forget her relentless cashing in. Jam jars, lifestyle merch, wine at $90 a bottle plus $20 shipping. Everything about it screamed desperation disguised as luxury. Kevin O'Sullivan didn't sugarcoat it. He said Meghan Markle's fatal flaw isn't arrogance or hypocrisy, it's the complete absence of grace. That quiet, understated strength that defined Queen Elizabeth, nowhere in sight. Where the Queen carried herself with dignity through decades of storms, Meghan turns every storm into a one-woman theater production about how unfair the world is to her. Kevin's line cut deep. The Queen's motto was, never complain, never explain. Meghan's might as well be, always complain, always explain. And he wasn't lying. The moment headlines fade, she finds a way to stir up new drama. A podcast rant here, an emotional, exclusive interview there, a conveniently timed tear. It's always something. Instead of rising above, she leans into the mess. Even with Montecito mansions, multi-million-dollar deals, and a life of luxury most people can only dream of, Meghan still manages to play the oppressed duchess. Kevin's savage summary. She could be sitting in a palace made of gold and still feel persecuted by the wallpaper. And then he brought up the late Queen. His tone sharpened. His words landed heavy. She made the Queen's final years miserable, he said. The room fell silent. Even his panelists didn't interrupt. While the Queen and Prince Philip quietly endured illness and loss, Meghan was on television airing royal dirty laundry. The timing, Kevin argued, was cruel. He called it what it was, unforgivable. Because at the end of the day, Meghan's brand isn't about grace, it's about performance. Grace is letting go. Meghan never does. She's too busy rewriting the past to move forward, and Kevin reminded everyone that's the difference between royalty and reality TV. One carries dignity, the other thrives on drama, and then came his final mic drop. Kevin O'Sullivan didn't just end with a jab, he ended with a nuclear line. Every single one of her ventures fails for the same reason. People don't like her brutal, unfiltered, echoing across social media like a slap, and here's the thing, he didn't say it out of nowhere. He laid down every piece of the puzzle. The PR flops, the jam scandal, the fashion disasters, the awkward summits, the endless rebrands, the mockery, the hypocrisy. It wasn't an opinion, it was a case study. Meghan Markle's downfall isn't some cruel twist of fate, it's self-inflicted. From her overpriced jam jars to her Netflix deals, there's one common denominator, Meghan, and people are simply tired of the victim act, tired of the empowerment monologues that don't empower anyone, tired of the endless, exhausting performance. Kevin's words echoed one last time. You can't sell authenticity when everything about you feels manufactured. He went further, reminding the world that Meghan and Harry once had it all. They held the world's goodwill in their hands. They had royal prestige, global love, and a chance to reshape the monarchy for the modern era. But instead of building something real, they traded it for Netflix deals, staged interviews, and superficial glitz. Now, they're punchlines. Two ex-royals who turned their fairy tale into a PR circus. The sparkles faded, the sympathies dried up, and the world has, quite frankly, moved on. For a woman who once built her fame on being heard, the silence now says it all.